Start a prayer and go ahead and start. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that cannot change, the courage to change the things that can, and the wisdom
to know the difference.
Okay, Dan, you recording?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so secretary's report.
The secretary's not here. She's
That would be Peggy. Yeah.
that's why we're recording.
I know, but didn't she send the report?
I don't have it.
Do we have access to the minutes she wrote out last month?
She
It
didn't
should
send the minutes from last month.
It should be on the Facebook business page.
Facebook?
Not Facebook, the messenger page. Messenger. You know,
Business, let me see if I can. Oh,
There should be a way to search it. You should be able to go up to the options thing and hit the search.
I thought it was, we were putting all our stuff in a folder in the group business file.
The treasurer's report is in there.
Could you read it for us, Daniel? Can you get access to it?
Yeah.
Or the secretary report from last month?
I
Sorry,
don't
Irene.
see a secretary's report. I see a treasurer's report. Do you want me to do the treasurer's?
The secretary's report, or do we have the treasurer's report?
I have the treasurer's. I don't have the secretary's.
All right. All right. So
That was for last month, though.
Eight to 221.
Yeah, that was
Where-
February's.
yeah. Okay. We don't have one in there.
222 is the last transfer.
So that's not happening. That's not right.
So no, and there's no secretary report from what Peggy did last month?
No,
I'm
Not
scrolling
on
through the
here.
business chat to see if I can find it. It takes
Yeah.
a minute. I'm barely at like March 1st.
Now I know. All right. Cool. Well then, who's ready? GSR, are you ready?
yeah, I have the report.
Fantastic. We're going to GSR. We're going to come back as we move along and try to gather our thoughts here. GSR, go ahead, Meg.
Yeah, so we met about 3 weeks ago, and this is the report that we have. For the treasurer's report, the February beginning balance was 5,569, and the prudent reserve is at $765, and the ending balance was 5,587. Then the alternate district committee member report, that's a lot of intergroup. So I think Daniel's gonna give you all the full information on those on that report. They just know that they have a new chair for CPC, and for treatment, we have the Hampton Roads Safe Harbor, has the dates filled for the month, and we're gonna, if anyone is interested in doing service for next month, they can let me know, or contact treatment directly to get your names and to Safe Harbor meetings. The VA Psych Center is ready to have meetings in person or virtual. The details are
Maggie, could you hold on? Irene, could you mute? There's a radio or wind blowing. Thank you.
okay. Where was I? The VA Psych Center is ready to have meetings in person or virtual. The details are still being discussed. The archive continues to describe for our members 30 years of sobriety or greater. They're looking for people for archives. And there's a Dr. Bob workshop on 327, and all that information, it's on the intergroup website. And they're trying to, for the website committee, they're trying to consolidate a page for all the meetings instead of having one that says click online, and in-person meetings are trying to do all of that. together. The Saturday of service is still on for June, and it's supposed to be in person. And then we had our DCM report with James. They talked about the assembly, just about signing up people, and then they send out the District 22 home group list letter. So we are supposed to be updated on that. And the GSR wants to have a workshop on what the district and the GSRs do. And they were asked to we were asked to bring back this idea to our home groups and see if anyone's willing to host a virtual workshop and just have virtual workshops for what service and what district is for all attendees. And one of the service workshop topics was to brainstorm with other DCMs of what activities we can do for fellowship that doesn't include just center specifically on recovery. What they want to do is like they're trying to see now that COVID opens, if we can get together with other DCMs and start doing like the picnics and all that stuff. So that was discussed into a lot of detail, which is just up in the air. So I just wrote that down. And the committee reports, the special activity and workshops report, committee is vacant still. The public information one is vacant. The cooperation with professional community is vacant. District web coordinator and grapevine are still vacant. Growth committee is vacant all the way to intergroup. So they don't have, Jennifer is our liaison for district, but they don't have one in intergroup. So that committee is not meeting right now. And the treatment, I also got in contact with treatment because Christina had sent some books to me. So those are being donated to treatment. I am not sure where they're going. They just said they needed books. So they didn't specify if they're just going to Safe Harbor, but they're going to be donated. And they need help in corrections as well. And everybody knows that, I mean, it's being announced a lot, but they're also trying to see that all of these committees, if you have sponsees, if you know people that are looking for service, not only to announce it just in the meetings, but if you have somebody specifically in mind, you can contact intergroup or contact, we can send an email to the DCM and let them know that there's somebody who would like to do that position. And the meetings that if we know that meetings are struggling, like I don't know, our meeting, I don't see it struggling, or I don't know, but it's very fluent. Sometimes it's usually like 20 right now or 25. Friday was a little slow, but if there's a need, we can just contact also the DCM and they can make sure to announce in other meetings to come to our meeting if that's something that we want to do. And there's also, give me 1 second. There's also there was also an announcement that they're looking for a part-time position for Pat, to help Pat on her days that she's off, or on when she takes a vacation. They usually have somebody in the office that does that. They usually have 2 people, but they're down to 1. So they're looking for a person that can do part-time in the office. If you know of anybody that can do it, they can call intergroup and set up an interview. And that was the whole report that I had.
Excellent.
I have a question. Did you say the growth committee at intergroup doesn't have a chair?
Yes.
There's a growth committee at intergroup?
It's supposed to be, that's what they say. There's a growth committee from district and there's supposed to be a chair in intergroup, and they haven't been meeting because the person that's supposed to be a chair for intergroup, there's no person.
Who's the, man, do you know? Okay, I'll ask someone else that question. Daniel, I have a question for you when you get a moment when you're doing your share. All right, anybody else have any questions for Maggie? Anybody?
Yes, did they get rid of the chair for intergroup then?
The
No.
Is that
chair?
what you're saying?
No, they
No.
didn't get rid of the chair for intergroup for growth. They haven't had one. And I really don't
Oh,
know.
for growth. Okay, I
Yeah.
misunderstood that. My bad.
No, and that's more, I think, I don't know if Daniel knows. I usually, what, all the reports from intergroup, I let him do that, but from that service position, it's open. So they were talking about somebody doing it, but I mean, that position is actually also open. There's a lot of service positions open. So if anybody needs or wants to do service,
Who's
you
the
can let
chair
them-
of intergroup currently?
the chair of
Steve.
intergroup?
Steve?
Yes,
Do you have his number, Lisa?
I have his email.
Can you text me, please?
Yes, I can.
Thanks.
Okay, well, that's my report. So before we go into the motion, like I told you guys, I'm thankful that you let me be your GSR, but now knowing the time availability that I have, when it comes to assemblies and all that, it's impossible for me to do it. Not even if it's not in person. I have my daughter and I'm alone most of the time with her. So even if my family wasn't here, it would have been impossible for me to sit through a whole thing when I'm alone with a 3-year-old. So I will be stepping down, and I know there's a lot of newcomers and a lot of people here, so I'm not just gonna leave you high and dry. I'll do the last business meeting next, for the month of April, so we have some time to have a new, another person fill in the position. And I know Charles is the alternate, unless he wants to take over and be the full GSR, that's up to him, but that's all my report.
I have a question. What is growth intergroup? What does the growth mean? Anybody know?
Yeah, the growth is about how the AA or the area is growing. So it'll be like questions about. It's really the place where things that are that might need to be changed will kind of land, and they will sort of do the homework to kind of see if our group needs to go in that direction or not go in that direction. That'll be like growth with should we change the book, or should we do this, or can we add that, or do we have enough people to should we add on a facility? It's just kind of like everything that's sort of like to kind of like focus the group so that we go in the direction that the group conscious wants to go into.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is
Is
it
there,
possible, I'm sorry, one more question. Is it possible to get a list put on our business chat of all the positions that are open that you just reported on, Meg?
Yes, I don't have Word, but I can make a list.
You
And
don't
just,
need Word.
yeah, no, I'll just make, I can send like, I can make it like a little template, and I can put it on the business chat of all the
Yeah, or
positions.
just a text of the positions that are available and open so that all group members can see that aren't here, you know, that might be interested in it.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I will do that. I will send that. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. So
Any more questions for Maggie? Do I
okay,
hear
so
any?
you can let me know. I guess I'll consider this like a 30-day notice for we
Okay.
can find a new GSR.
Maggie, what we'll do is we'll go up and we'll see in new business. We'll talk about it and see if anybody's up. If not, but yeah, just we're gonna move forward as quickly as we can.
Okay, that sounds good. So that's all my report from the GSR.
Do I
I'm
hear
making a
anything?
motion to accept.
There's a motion on the floor to accept. Has it been seconded?
I second it.
It's now been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? All right, now intergroup.
Okay, I missed some of the meeting for intergroup, and Lisa was kind enough to make notes for me, so I'm gonna read off that. The meeting opened at 7 p.m. There was a quorum of over 25 members. The treasurer's report accepted and accepted as submitted. Steering committee did not meet, but agreed on a new printer for the office, a cost of $349 over email and phone conversations. The CPC not at intergroup meetings, so the report was not given. The PI office not at intergroups, so no report was given. Corrections, pink can balance was $2,130.62. Pink can donations were $199. Added grapevine was 81 cents. Notebook purchases. Ending balance $2,330.48. They need women and volunteers with a year or more for Norfolk jail meetings via Zoom. Visitation and volunteer activities are still canceled until further notice. Treatment meet on February 10th. They were able to fill Tuesdays and Thursday dates at St. Harbor, and we'll see about taking a Saturday meeting back in. A cards were taken to St. Harbor's and will be kept stocked up. They have not been able to talk to any other facilities about bringing meetings in, but are asking home groups to volunteer to go back into Virginia Beach Psych Center as a home group and not just individuals. Your GSRs can bring back dates to home groups that would like to volunteer. I'm pretty sure Psych Center is a in-person meeting. That's why not many home groups have volunteered. Website, all meetings, Zoom and live will be added to the meetings guide at the top of the intergroup website. It's right next to the home button under the Tidewater intergroup logo. All you have to do is hit the meeting button and all meetings will show up. You do not need to scroll down. The online meeting guide list will be gone. If meeting is just on Zoom, there will be a green online meeting next to the name of the meeting and the address will be shaded. If the meeting is both Zoom and live, it will have a green online meeting and the address will be dark. If it is an in-person meeting, the address will be dark. To log into the month meeting, you will have to scroll down to the calendar on the right side of the screen. Just go over to the Grapevine logo. There's a small rectangle button with just calendar on it. Click that and it will open to the month and you can click on the monthly meeting you want to go to and it will take you there. March 31st is when the meeting guides will be combined. Miss Courtney is stepping down from committee chair. Steve is
Hold on, Daniel. Your speaker being open it's causing an echo. Thank you. Only when you're not sharing, if you can mute it, because it's causing a lot of back noise.
Okay, Steve has selected Malcolm as web committee chair and he accepted. July 12th will be the gratitude and action delegates report. Sherry will give the delegates report this year. Not sure if online or in person or hybrid meeting yet. No time given, date and everything else will be announced when the info comes available. Everyone is invited. And that's for the gratitude and action delegates report. General Assembly is in 2 weeks, must register to join. Then that was this weekend. Archives workshop Saturday 27th at 2 p.m. this month. Dr. Bob, the forgotten co-founder, and his wife, they still need people to transcribe. They have a lot of interviews done, but no one to transcribe them. There will be an open house on May 5th from 12 to 4. New business, need to fill ins for Pat so she can go on vacation. Please contact the intergroup office if interested. And that's to fill in for Pat. The printer was bought, delivered soon. Miss Melissa is the Harmony editor and is stepping down to move to Florida. Miss Brenda C is taking over as editor. Meeting closed at 8:35 and closed with a moment of silence and the Lord's Prayer. Okay, what was your question, Iram?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're just moving along. I don't want to make a bunch of noise. So, any more questions for Daniel?
Yeah. Did you just read, was that the intergroup and financial statement report?
No, no, that was intergroup notes from the intergroup meeting.
From last meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
From
I'm
March
trying to
9th
write
from March 9th.
everything. Okay. I was trying to write everything down because it doesn't look like we're recording.
No, we're recording.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then.
Okay.
Daniel, I have a question. Who's looking for the transcribers?
Who needs help with transcribing?
Yeah.
The archives.
How do you contact them?
Archives at intergroup.org.
At intergroup.org?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's archives at Tidewater Intergroup.
Thank you,
Oh, okay.
Lisa.
Is it spelled right out, Tidewater?
Or you can go to the website, tidewaterintergroup.org, and look up the group so you get the right one. I don't want anybody to write down the wrong one and get a resentment. So if I were you, I'd go to tidewaterintergroup.org and find the committees, and they'll show you how to get to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because they've done a lot of recordings, but they need to transfer them onto paper.
Oh, on the paper. Oh, type. Yeah, I type, so I can do that. But anyway.
Okay.
I motion to approve the intergroup report.
I second.
There's been a motion on the floor to approve and has been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? All right. Thank you for your service, Daniel. All right, that brings us to old business. Do you have any old business? It would be nice to have the secretary's report.
And the treasury report.
Can anybody think of any old business? All right. We're gonna move into new business. Anybody have any new business?
I do. There was just an assembly or something, and the group had an opportunity to vote on lots of different things, and we didn't know anything about it in time. I feel like the next time there's a big thing like an assembly where we have a voice and need to vote, we need to have a meeting in advance. How do we set that up so that we can do that?
Well, what would happen would be is the GSR would get the information in a timely manner and get it back to us to the meeting that they need to get to, which would usually be within 2 months before. But we were in transition when we started that, so we might have missed that information. But they usually get it 2 months before, and then they would bring it to the meeting the month before they go to assembly, and then we'd have an opportunity to vote and think on those things. Or we can come up with any other way that we prefer to do it. But that's usually what the natural way of happening, but we can do something else.
Is this a once a year thing? So we have a whole year to figure it out?
It's twice a year.
Okay.
Hey, Phoenix.
Yeah.
I just got an email from another GSR that has the schedule all the way through fall assembly of 2022. And those would be dates that could help when we're scheduling business meetings or modifying or whatever, with ideas of, hey, do we keep the same schedule, or if there's an assembly or meeting coming up, do we need to bump it ahead a week or behind a week?
I don't believe we need to bump it or lose it. We just have to pay attention. And the GSR would have to make sure they got their information to us in time. So it's also our job to remind them, like, hey, what are we voting on? Do we have that information yet? Can we get it so we can get it to the meeting? And that's really the job. So it just takes it takes both the group and the person. We don't need to move it unless it's some weird question that comes up out of the blue. But everything that we vote on has been thought about for at least 6 months to a year.
I'd like to point out too, I don't know if this is, but we just became an official home group. Peggy had posted something in the business chat on March 9th. So even before that, we weren't officially.
Rhonda, you cut out. Rhonda, you there?
Rhonda?
She
You
doesn't have
guys-
the best internet.
Do you guys hear me?
No, you cut
Yes.
out that she
Oh.
posted on March 9th.
Yeah, that we were now an official home group. So, you know, that was just what, last week, you know, not even a week, over a week ago. So we wouldn't have been able to, well, actually, we could have voted on stuff here. But anyway, she just, because they didn't find the first set of information that she had sent. They lost it or something. So, yeah, they never, yeah, this was dated March 8th. She finally got, should I read this now, Iran, or no?
It's up to you.
All right, well, Peggy said March 8th. Hi, friends, I finally got a call back from the General Service Office and they said they never received the new group form I mailed to them. She said I could email her the information and I just did that. And that Maggie, is my understanding that she should be receiving meeting group number email, that the GSR would have been receiving that. So we just became an official group, AA. So
Yeah, I never received that information. She sent that information back in, I think it was like October, and they never sent it back to her. So she sent it through email, and she sent me an email saying that they were gonna forward me that information, which I haven't received yet either. And I checked both my mail, my junk mail, and my regular folder. So I don't know why, because Peggy sent it right the first time. She sent it through the regular mail. So I don't know what's going on there.
So that would have to be resolved with Peggy then, whatever's going on with us being an official. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to bring that to the group's attention.
Yes, and I attended all the meetings that the business meetings with the district, since they changed also committee, and there were never the items, the agenda for the VAC were never brought up nor sent to me through any communication. So I had really no idea of what items we would be voting on until the assembly started. But as I said before, since this is new business, I think that somebody who has more availability in their time should be taking care of the GSR position, because I know that with my schedule, it's not something I can do. I really love being of service, but
Okay, all right, so guys, I'm gonna round this back to the question that was handed, so we don't get too far off. The question was from Phoenix: is there a way to take care of this information so that we can make sure our voice is heard? Is what the particulars of her question are, and so there are a lot of options here. Phoenix, I'm coming to you to say, would you like, did any of those answers answer that for you, or would you like to put something into a more solid decision?
No, I think that's all good. I think because we just became a group and we were in transition with GSR, we might have missed our opportunity this time. If we have 6 months to get it right the next time, I'm sure we can do it. So I'm not worried about it. I just wanted to know what happened.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Phoenix. Anybody have any new business? Anybody else?
Hey, Iran,
Yes, Charles.
I can give a short summary of the motions that came up and were voted on at the VAC. I was in and out, but I was able to get a general summary of most of the motions passed. If anybody's interested, if that would be relevant.
Yeah. Let's take a quick group conscious on if that's what you want to hear now, or set it for another date. So, can you hit your yes button so we know if you're ready to hear that? Hear what happened in the VAC this weekend now, or X button.
I don't know how you do that.
If you go over to the more button, you'll see a green check above the hand clap, and an X for no. X is for no, and check is for yes.
I don't have an X or check. I'm gonna go like this.
You did a thumbs up.
All right. Okay.
All right. Maggie, which ones do you want me to go over? Do you want me to go over the different motions and votes?
You can just go over the votes that you have. The
Okay.
votes, I mean.
All right. So corrections had a motion that was changing the language in some of the AA literature to amend it from referring to AA members that are incarcerated as inmates or convicts. The nature was, hey, we're all AA members. Where we're at doesn't really affect who we are. We're in AA because we're AA members and we're alcoholics. So that was a motion that was passed. Finance and Budget had a few motions that were related to ad hoc committees. And that was about funding for travel expenses, not to exceed $200 for each of those ad hoc committees for rotations. Those were both passed. And then getting it down into the website committee, there was a really long text for a motion that the motion itself said, replace section 20 in the VAC guidelines with the proposed section 20 below. The gist of that change was, hey, look, giving the ability to the website committee to make changes to the website, as long as it's not really substantive, as long as it's not something that we need to have a larger conscience on, but things, they realized things were really clunky and they were still sort of being viewed from how it was when they first started the website. And especially with COVID and all that stuff in the last year, they said, hey, look, if we need to change links, if we need to work on layout a little bit, as long as it's not anything significantly substantive, can the website committee be able to do that if it's in the interest of AA? And so that motion was passed. There was a motion regarding, they wanted to define who the website committee was. And so their website committee chair, website coordinator, at least one past delegate appointed by an area chairperson, and 2 volunteer members. And the reason they put this motion is because sometimes they had 3 people on their team and sometimes they had way more than that. And so they just wanted to put something in place that said, hey, look, this is what our standard is. This is what we're looking for in the composition of our team. One of the things they noted is any member of the Virginia area can serve as a volunteer designated by the website committee chair in consultation with the coordinator and the appointed past delegate. Some of the discussion was really about, how can we make sure that that appointed past delegate is not, the same person over and over again, or it's, there's some equity in how it's chosen. And let's see, let me look, that was on that sheet. There was a lot of Grapevine literature had a lot of stuff going on. So if you wanted to take all the motions and sort of put them together, there was a few big themes going on, like, hey, whether or not we wanted to amend the 164 pages, audit and change them. And a lot of those, the discussion focused on, hey, we want to change it to gender neutral, or we want to change the content to reflect, instead of a bunch of old white guys in the 30s, we want to update the big book to what we're doing these days. And then there was several other motions regarding, hey, we want to add appendices. So let's take one of our pamphlets, the AA group, and let's put it in as an appendix. Or, hey, why don't we work on a new edition and add in new stories? And really the debate from the majority of the speakers was, you had a few camps. One, we're not changing the 164, you're going to take it out of our dead hands. There's another group that said the 164 is outdated, it's crap, get rid of it. The other group said, hey, leave the 164, and then we're all for changing whatever comes after it. If you want to attach anything, make a 5th edition, do all that, throw it on there. We don't care. Just keep the 164 the same. And so there was a motion to audit the big book, just an audit, but to remove and rewrite sections to modernize the big book, make it gender neutral. And that was not passed. There was another motion to consider adding pages 3 through 41, the pamphlet of the AA group, to the big book as an appendix. And the concerns were, hey, AA groups are different. We shouldn't really put this out there as a standard. But where the discussion sort of turned was, hey, look, the pamphlet's already out there, and this is available for groups. And so they, as long as it, going back to the earlier argument, as long as it's not messing with the 164, throw it in there. So the motion to add or to consider adding pages 3 through 41, the pamphlet of AA, to the big book as an appendix, that was passed. Pardon me, that was not passed. Sorry, I was looking at a different one. That was not passed. Another one was, motion was to work on a 5th edition of AA, updated stories including people that were trans, color, non-nuclear families, immigrants, non-Christians, vets, seniors, and deadheads, and an addendum regarding gender pronouns, but leaving the 164 pages the same, and that was not passed. There was a motion to consider the development of the 4th edition of the Spanish version of the big book, and that was passed. And then there was there were sort of compound motions tucked in together regarding revision to the 12 and 12. And one of the ones that really had a slug match was removing from page 117, there was a sentence that said, that was speaking about finding a mate of the opposite sex, and people felt that that could be offensive. And so that was voted yes, that motion was passed to consider that. So those were all the motions that I had written down that I could hear.
There were 700 more.
We didn't hear what you said, Irene.
Did you hear me?
No.
Now I can.
Oh, I was like, there were more. I was picking on Charles. It's okay. Go
All
ahead.
right. Yeah, no, I definitely missed any more than that. Sorry about that. Any other sort of crazy things other than the treasurer's report from the AC? They have a lot more cash on hand right now because of the cancellation of in-person events. So like travel expenses and literature and supplies for the events and committee work that didn't have to be done, that gave them $97,626 cash on hand. So they have 14.2 months of net funds available to cover operating expenses. Woohoo! So we've got also the dates for summer meeting, fall assembly, winter meeting, spring assembly, summer meeting, and fall assembly through 2022. So, and those were all things that I was able to sneak in and out on. So I hope that sort of helps. If there's anything big takeaway was there's probably about 25% of the people that I could hear, or in terms of voting wise, were really concerned about updating the big book to what they would say is modern language, and or changing things the way it's worded. And other than that, really just updates and trying to keep a sort of nimble so we can keep moving. This conference, a big part of it was to help prepare our delegate, Sherry Wells, for the General Service Conference. So that's all I got. If anybody, I don't know whether anybody has questions or anything. I don't even know what to do, but if that helps, I hope it does.
Thank you, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Yep.
All right, anybody, just so everybody know that anybody can go, whether it's live or on Zoom, anyone can, as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, can go to any assembly at any time. All right, do I hear anything?
Motion to accept Charles's report.
Motion.
I hear a motion.
Second.
I have a second on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right. New business, we're still in new business. All right, so Charles, are you the alternate GSR?
Yes, sir.
I make
I
a
believe
motion.
so.
Yeah, I make a motion that Charles becomes the GSR.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion?
Charles,
is
any discussion?
squinting. Yeah, Charles is squinting like, oh no.
Mm.
Do I have time for this?
Well,
If
actually,
you've ever
you'd have,
seen Sanford and Son,
you'd actually have a month, right, Maggie? You said you were given 30 days notice, so you're going to do April, right?
Right. He's our alternate GSR. So alternate, they're the person who should be moving forward generally. Do you accept it, Charles?
oh, good. Yes. Yes, sir. Sure. If it's an option.
Awesome.
It is
Awesome.
a-
Who accepted?
All in favor?
Aye. Everyone's raising their hand, not me, so.
Okay. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Charles, thank you for your service. and your-
Does that, I got a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Does that mean that we need to find an alternate now?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do my job. So here we are. All right. So now we have an alternate position available. Would anybody like to be the alternate to the GSR? Anybody? Anybody? Rhonda?
No, I don't go that high up in the service.
I can't do it because of my corrections position, I don't think.
No, you cannot.
I live in New Bern, North Carolina.
I live in Maryland. So that's, I've been hesitant in the past. Like, I can't vote or do certain service positions because of where I live, correct?
I don't see why that.
Some of them, like, I guess if everything goes back in person, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they might not still Zoom it. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah.
So.
Should probably talk to my sponsor, huh?
Yes, that's exactly. Next word. Yes.
Can I ask what does, because I've never gone past like treasure, the group, service position. What does a GSR do?
A GSR is a general service representative. They represent our particular home group at the district level, which means that they take our group conscience to the district, and they also facilitate the information that's going on at the district to bring it back to our home group so we can actually maneuver what's going on so we can be a part of AA as a whole. And that means like helping out with like, okay, we need committees. There's committees that need to be filled. There's this that's going on. The district wants to do a workshop. We need more people to help with Pat in the office, like everything that's going on in the area. And then what the GSR also does is goes to 2 assemblies a year. And in those assemblies, they're talking about voting for information that goes to AA as a whole. So what affects our area, Virginia? So whatever's going on in Virginia, they'll talk about what's going on and that'll pass on to our delegate. Our delegate will then take that information to to the service committee out in New York, and they will all vote on all kinds of information. So it's really just the person who represents our home group to help make sure our voice is heard. An example, real quick, in the first printing of the 4th edition of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, there were no concepts in that. And somebody from a home group in Norfolk here that I am very good friends with suggested that we do that. He told it to his GSR. The GSR took it to district. The district took it up to the state. The state took it up to New York. They came back, distributed that question all around to the whole area. Then they voted on it. And then the next printing, they added the concepts. So just making sure our voice is heard is what the GSR does.
All right, one other question. Oh, well, actually 2 combined into one. You said there's 2 assemblies a year. Are there monthly meetings, and are those, you don't know whether they're Zoom or not. And if you do have to physically be present, I remember my groups in New York, the groups actually sponsored like the funds for like gas to drive to them. So, and where would the assemblies be? I know that's a whole bunch of questions in one.
All right, assemblies, I don't know. We have to look at where they're located. They're all, I think right now because of COVID, they're just kind of set for.
Hey, Iran.
Yeah.
I will say the little schedule they sent out for summer meetings and fall assemblies, winter meetings, spring assembly, and those.
Okay.
The
summer meetings are just for DCMs and the chair people.
Okay, so the assemblies, so like we've got an assembly in Richmond, Newport News, and Chesapeake are the 3 next listed assemblies.
Oh wow, that's super close. All right. So yeah, and so there is a monthly meeting. It's once a month. I don't know when ours is in the District 23. I know where another one is. And then there's also, I mean, I don't know. I have never been privy, but it's the group conscience that makes the decision where they rotate gas to go to the meeting. But the group does pay for if you're going to the assembly. If you're going to the assembly, we pay for your food, your meals, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner while you're at the assembly. We also pay for the gas, and we pay for you to, and I always tell people we pay for the hotel room, even if it's in next door to their house, because it's the best part is to be a part of the whole experience and not running back and forth. Did that answer your last questions, Rhonda?
Did you say that there's a regular GSR meeting every month?
Yes,
Once a month.
It's
At
every month.
local?
Yes.
It's every month. It's every Tuesday, and right now they're still doing that. It's the first Tuesday of the month, and they're doing it right now. It's still online, and they meet. I don't remember the location. It's a church. They do meet there. They don't pay for the gas, but the rest of the things of the meeting are covered, but they will discuss further down when they're going to start opening up the meeting in person. But for now, it's online. It's once a month, first Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Okay, well, I've never gone farther up than chairman of the group, but I guess I'll be the alternate.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, thank you so much, Rhonda. You're now our alternate GSR. Fantabulous. Any more new business?
Other than I want to connect up with Charles. So Charles, we're not connected in any way, like phone numbers and stuff. I can get you whatever, so we can chat and get more information from you. Thank you.
Any more new business? Can I hear it?
I motion first.
I just
Motion-
want to thank Maggie for her service. I'm sorry. Just
Yes,
wanted
thank you, Maggie.
yes,
Thank you,
for what
Maggie.
she has
Awesome,
done
Maggie.
for us. Yep. Sorry, Lisa.
Oh, you're good. Motion to close.
I'm sorry, I have to step down, but I love you guys.
Okay, love you
so
too.
We
Bye-bye.
love you too, Maggie. Thank
Second
you.
emotion.
It's now been second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait. I do have one thing.
Motion on the floor.
I know, but I gotta ask this.
There's a motion on the floor. We must stick to the motion on the floor.
Okay.
Motion on the floor has been seconded. Any discussion on the motion on the floor to close?
To close the meeting?
Yes.
I want to put out there that we need to announce our business meeting for the whole week prior to it, so other group members are aware of the business meeting. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
people who don't have Facebook.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Hey guys. I'm all like, I'm gonna say this. I like to, rules, the pictures, the follow, let's stick to them. Please. That's all I'm at. I don't care how we go over stuff, but when we're in the middle of a motion, we must stick to the rules. Please. Now, the motion's on the floor to close. Any discussion about the motion?
I think you're assuming everybody knows the rules.
I am. It's called Robert's Rules. No discussion on the motion to close. Lisa, would you like to pull your motion back so that we can get the other questions that are missing?
Yes, I will pull my motion back.
Motion's been pulled back from the floor. Now we can discuss everything. Phoenix, Rhonda, let's go.
I just wanted to say that I think that we need to announce the week prior to our business meeting, during the announcement times of the meetings, that our business meeting's coming up. So people that are not connected in chat, we have a lot of home group members. And, so I think they're not aware of when our business meeting's happening. So I think it needs to be announced.
So I motion that we volunteer, or someone volunteers to do that. Because we need a person that does that, just one person.
That's a motion on the floor.
I'll announce it.
There's a motion on the floor.
I'll second that motion.
There's a second to that motion on the floor. Thank you, Charles. Phoenix, you said that you would be interested in doing that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the motion on the floor is that we'll have a person to do that. Any more discussion on that? We'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Phoenix, would you said you'd be interested in doing that position. Would you also grab someone to do that with you?
I'll do it with her.
Cool. All right.
Does that need to have a motion?
It needs to have I think it needs to have a committee. I don't think it needs a motion. I think we just said that we need to have somebody. Someone's volunteered for that. She's accepted. Therefore, the question at the end is make sure she has someone that has backup. There is that. That is no motion needed.
Okie dokie. Miss
Cool.
Phoenix, if you get with Tracy should have everybody's email and numbers.
Cool.
I thought I was just announcing it in the meeting.
I've got it.
No.
That's what we just said.
Yeah, that's what I put out, that it be announced during the announcements of our regular meetings.
Oh, okay.
If it's gonna,
My bad.
I can't. Another suggestion also is because Phoenix won't be able to make every single meeting. It might be nice to just put it in our own announcements on the paper that we read every time. The first, whatever day of the week, third Sunday of the month is our regular business meeting. Come join us. It'll also be read every single time.
Mm.
Oh, to add it to the format?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I motion that we add to the format that the business meeting is every third Sunday of the month.
There's a motion on
A
the floor.
second.
It's now been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Perfect. All right.
I have one other thing to bring up,
All right.
but to be tabled for next month. And that is the discussion of officers that are in this group, because I know AA recommends certain time periods that the officers should be in position, and then new officers are voted in. It's a rotation of service.
Yeah, it's
but I
every
want to
2
table
years.
it.
It's
Well,
every
it's
2 years.
different for all the positions.
Yes.
Oh,
I know
I
know GSR is 2 years, but Treasury I thought was a year. Secretary is a year. That's my understanding, but be tabled for next month.
every group is completely different. All right. Most groups that I've ever been in, it's always the same rotation. So a group of officers rotate in together and rotate out together because they work together. And so it's super important to do that at GSR. But it's whatever you guys want to build it. It could be 1 year here, 6 months there, and knick-knack, paddywhack, give it, you know what I mean? Like whatever you want to do. But every group I've ever been belonged to, it's always been a 2-year commitment for everything. So everybody rotates in together and everybody rotates out together.
Okay, yeah, just to be discussed for next business meeting, that's all. So we can keep track of it too, you know, when people came in, and so that we can announce people that are interested, and then when we actually vote on new officers. So for just, yeah. Discussion for next month.
Any more new business?
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and close this meeting.
There is now a motion on the floor to close.
Second.
I second it.